Welcome to City Skylines 5 Tips and Tricks 2019. This is some of the tips and tricks that I've used pretty much every time I play the game, so let's get going with tip number 1. You can add more bus stops than you need to artificially raise the land value around the bus stops. In the example on screen, I'm adding way too many bus stops, and by limiting the amount of buses, I will get the land value bonuses while keeping the traffic nice and clean. So basically you can add as many bus stops as you want. All it really does is increase your land value. Tip number 2. We all know parks increase land value, but by how much? Basically you can follow the guidelines in the game. Red buildings need more parks, blue or teal buildings are well fed. What you can do is pretty much the same with the bus stops. You can add an almost unlimited amount of parks, preferably the parks with the longest reach or range. By doing so you will increase the land value and make your buildings upgrade. The example on screen is a little bit overkill, but it goes to show how well this actually works. Tip number 3. This is the tip that comes from me playing the game for many hours. There is a policy called high-tech housing. By enabling it, you get more modern buildings, but they cost more to maintain. Not only do they look more modern, they also add more land value. By enabling this policy, you will first have a dip in income, but once the buildings upgrade, you get higher land value, more upgrades, and a positive spiral of upgrades occur. Combining this tip with the previous tips, and you will in the end have a more developed city and make more money. It is truly a win-win policy. Tip number 4. Adding highway ramps to the correct side of the highway according to where the cars are going makes a huge difference in traffic flow. In the example on screen, we will follow this highway line to figure out what is wrong. By rebuilding the road and adding the highway ramp to the correct side of the highway, we now have a fantastic flow that keeps up with all the traffic. Sometimes the cars behave a little bit weird, so you might have to try both sides out before finding the correct one. Tip number 5. Schools. Schools, they provide your city with education. And they provide your city with land value. Normally, you would place the schools close to the living areas, because this makes sense. But schools can be used for more things. By placing the schools close to commercial, office or industrial zones, you will increase the land value around them. This will not show up as a smiley face on the buildings, but the overall land value will increase, and more often than not, your buildings will upgrade. So if your industries are not upgrading, you can always try adding some more parks and schools, and that might be enough to get the positive spiral going. And now, before we end the video, I have a bonus tip for you guys. Any policy that increases the budget of any service will increase the overall land value of the city. By increasing the budget on parks, school, police and fire stuff, you will be able to get your city in a positive spiral where all buildings rather quickly head for maximum upgrades. When enabling the policies, you will lose a lot of money. But once the buildings are done upgrading, more often than not, you will end up with more money compared to before you enable the policies. Now, all of these tips might not work as great as they did for me, but give them a go and let me know what you think. As always, I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Feel free to leave a like, comment and subscribe for more awesome content, and I will see you guys next time.